Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurul Anashara binti Yusuf, BN251120003. Today I will be presenting about nutrition and psychology, the impact of nutrition on mental health and well-being. Without further ado, let's go. Now we'll move on to the introduction. Nutrition is often associated with physical health, growth, and disease prevention. However, its influence extends beyond the body and play an important role in mental health and psychological well-being. The brains require a continuous supply of nutrients to support cognitive function such as learning, memorizing, concentration, and emotional regulation. Research has shown that dietary habits can significantly affect moods, behavior, and mental health. Poor nutrition may contribute to psychological problems, while a balanced diet can support optimal brain function and emotional well-being. Therefore, in this presentation, I will discuss the relationship between nutrition and psychology, including the role of nutrition in mental function, its impact on mental health, nutrition-related psychological disorders such as anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa, as well as their treatment and management. Without further ado, let's begin with the definition of nutrition and psychology. First, let's look at the definition of nutrition. The term nutrition originates from the Latin words nutrire, which mean to feed or to nourish. Nutrition is the scientific study of how nutrients in food are absorbed, metabolized, and utilized by the body to support growth, maintenance, and overall health. Although people have understood the importance of food for survival since ancient times, nutrition only became recognized as a scientific discipline during the 19th and the early 20th centuries. This development was largely driven by the discovery of essential nutrients and their role in preventing disease. One of the earliest examples was the discovery of deficiency of vitamin C causes scurvy, which provides a strong evidence that specific nutrients are necessary for maintaining health. Today, nutrition encompasses the study of both macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients, which include carbohydrate, proteins, and fat, provide energy and structural support for the body. Meanwhile, micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals are required for metabolic processes, neurological function, and overall physiology health. In addition, proper nutrition supports important bodily function including immune response, metabolism, and brain development. From a psychology perspective, nutrition is equally important because a balanced diet contributes to emotional well-being, cognitive performance, and healthy brain function. Therefore, nutrition plays a vital role in both psychological health and physical health. Now, let's move on to the definition of psychology. The term psychology originates from the Greek word psyche, which means mind or soul, and logos, meaning study. Therefore, psychology can be defined as a scientific study of human behavior, thoughts, emotion, and mental processes. The origins of psychology can be traced back to ancient Greece philosophers such as Plato and Aristotle, who explored questions about human nature, knowledge, and behavior. However, psychology only became a formal science discipline in 1979 when William Wolff established the first psychology laboratory in Leipzig, Germany. This event is widely regarded as the beginning of the modern psychology. Today, psychology covers many areas of human functioning. It studies cognition, which include thinking, memorizing, and problem-solving skill. It also examines perception and learning, personality, and behavior, as well as mental health issues such as psychological disorder, therapy, and overall well-being. Human behavior and mental processes are influenced by various factors, including biological, environmental, and social factors. In recent years, nutrition has gained increasing attention as an important biological factor because it can affect brain function, mood regulation, and overall psychological well-being. This highlights the close relationship between nutrition and psychology, which will be discussed further in the following section. Now let's see how the nutrition affect the psychological function in the brain. The brain is one of the body's most energy-demanding organ in the human body, although it only makes up a small percentage of our body weight. It requires a constant supply of nutrients to support cognitive function, emotional regulation, and behavioral response. One of the most important nutrients for the brain is glucose, which serves as a primary source of energy. Adequate glucose level help maintain concentration, memory, and overall cognitive performance. However, insufficient glucose can lead to fatigue, reduced focus, and impaired cognitive function. Another important nutrient is omega-3 fatty acid. These healthy fats contribute to the structure of the brain and facilitate communication between neurons. Research suggests that adequate omega-3 intake is associated with improved emotional well-being and may help reduce symptoms of depression. In addition, micronutrients such as iron, vitamin B12, and folate are also essential for healthy brain function. Deficiencies in these nutrients have been linked to impaired cognitive performance and increased risk of psychological disorder. Therefore, proper nutrition is essential for maintaining both brain function and psychological well-being. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into the brain, particularly the neurotransmitter part. Neurotransmitters are a chemical messenger that allow communication between nerve cells in the brain. They play an important role in regulating mood, behavior, emotion, and various cognitive function. Nutrition is closely linked to neurotransmitter production because the brain requires specific nutrients to synthesize this chemical messenger. An important example is serotonin, a neurotransmitter that helps regulate mood and maintaining emotional stability. The production of serotonin depends on a tryptophan, an amino acid obtained through our diet. Therefore, maintaining a balanced diet is important not only for physical health but also for the supporting neurotransmitter production, optimal brain function, and overall psychological well-being. By ensuring adequate nutrient intake, individual can help promote better mental health and emotional stability. This demonstrates how nutrition directly influences the biological processes that affect our thoughts, emotion, and behavior. Now, we'll move on to the disease related to nutrition and psychology. I'll be covering two kinds of disorder, which is anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa. Let's go. Now, we move on to the first nutrition psychological related disorder. One of the most common disorder linking to this is anorexia nervosa, which is a serious eating disorder characterized by severe self-imposed food restriction to an intense fear of gaining weight. Despite being underweight, individuals often perceive themselves as overweight because of this distorted body image. Several psychological factors contribute to this disorder, including low self-esteem, feeling of worthlessness, anxiety, perfectionism, and strong need for control. This factor often drive individuals to restrict their food intake excessively. The nutritional consequences can be severe. Individuals may experience malnutrition, vitamin and mineral deficiency, extreme fatigue, muscle loss, reduced bone density, and even organ damage. In addition to physical health complications, anorexia nervosa is often associated with depression, social withdrawal, emotion distress, and obsession behavior related to food and body image. Now we move on to the second disorder, which is bulimia nervosa, which characterized by recurrent episodes of binge eating, where an individual consumes a large amount of food within a short period of time. These episodes are often followed by a compensatory behavior such as self-induced vomiting, fasting, excessive exercise, or misuse of laxative to prevent weight gain. Psychologically, individuals with bulimia nervosa often experience feeling of guilt, shame, low self-esteem, and a loss of control over their eating behavior. Concern about body image and weight are also a common factors contributing to this disorder. The repeated cycle of binge eating and purging can result in dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, digestive problem, and nutritional deficiencies. Furthermore, many individuals experience anxiety, depression, and emotional distress, which may worsen the condition if left untreated. Thus, similar to anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa highlight the strong relationship between nutrition and mental health. Now, let's move on to the treatment and management of this disorder. Since eating disorder can affect both physical and psychological health, treatments require a comprehensive approach. The first component is nutritional rehabilitation. This involves restoring healthy eating habits through structural meal plans and correcting nutrient deficiency. Proper nutrition supports physical recovery and helps restore brain function needed for the psychological healing. Another important treatment is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT is considered one of the most effective psychological treatment for eating disorder. It helps individuals recognize and challenge unhealthy thoughts about food, body image, and weight while developing healthier coping strategies. Family-based therapy may also be used particularly for adolescent and young adult. This approach strengthens family support system, improve communication, and help family members contribute positively to recovery process. Finally, the most successful treatment outcomes are often achieved through a multidisciplinary approach involving psychiatrists, nutritionists, physician, and counselor. By combining medical care, nutritional support, and psychological therapy, individuals are given the best opportunity for long-term recovery. Therefore, effective treatment must be addressed both the nutritional and psychological aspect of eating disorder. Now we have reached the conclusion of this presentation. Nutrition and psychology are deeply and bidirectionally interconnected. Each dimension profoundly shapes the others, and neither can be fully understood in isolation. At the neurological level, dietary nutrients are the raw materials for neurotransmitter production, brain structure, and cognitive function, making nutrition a biological foundation of psychological health. At the clinical level, eating disorder demonstrate how psychological distress can devastate nutritional status, while poor nutrition amplifies the psychological deterioration, which creates a self-reinforcing cycle that is difficult to break. Moving forward, an integrated, holistic approach addressing both nutritional rehabilitation and psychological intervention is essential for improving quality of life and long-term recovery outcome. That would be all from me. Thank you very much. Now we move to the disease related to nutrition and psychology. In this presentation, I will be covering two